So this is where it all began for me, 84 Stamford Street, Old Trafford, back in the 1960s. And that old tree is still there from them days when I used to tie my bike up against it. There was a lot of Irish community in this Old Trafford around that time. On the left-hand side there at number 88 was the Garveys. There was a blind fella, Harold his name was, at 86. And then there was us at number 84 there. And across the road, as I swing the camera around now in a minute, there was old houses there many years ago, and I remember them getting demolished in the 70s. They put some granny flats up, and now they built a mosque, so I've seen some changes around this area. So let's take a walk into Gordon Street and see how it goes. Now looking at the side of the house, that's my old house there. The middle room window is missing, and the upstairs middle room, and the attic. And down there where the wall is on the left there, we used to have a kitchen window there, and that's gone as well. Now these entries were open back in the 60s. They've got gates on now. We played football for many hours on these streets. That's Snowy Gilbert's house there. And we use those back entries as goals or nets. I noticed there's a lamppost gone missing there. We used to swing on it as well. So yeah, Gilbert's was at number 1. Number 5 here was the Kennedys, an Irish family. They used to paint the house red, or they'd paint that about 4 or 5 times a year. And it was immaculate outside. The Gallaghers was at number 7, no relation. As we take a walk down now towards Gordon Street to the end, we had the Moore family at number 10 and the Keaveneys at number 12. Down at number 14 or 16, I can't remember which number it was, there was some old fella. He had a wooden leg and a walking stick. He used to go into the Wally. He used to get drunk most of the nights. And you'd hear him about 10:30, 11 o'clock shouting about Harold Wilson and Edward Heath and what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And just past this taxi, there was a corner shop there called Lockhart's. And that used to sell the Rathbones bread I always remember getting from there years ago. And looking up to Pemberton Street there towards the old Chippy. This is Prestige Street. Now there was a shop on every corner on Prestige Street, all done little penny lollies with juice and water. On this corner here there was a PDSA shop, the second-hand shop. They done all the proceeds went to the animals in distress. And on the next corner there was another little shop that done groceries and provisions. And down there on the left-hand side was a dairy that done eggs and milk. Now Belmont Street, again, that was another popular street for the Irish community. There was the Keanes there on the right, the Earleys, the McCaffertys on the left. It was, I think, 2 lots of Quigleys. Very popular name in Old Trafford was the Quigleys. And then the McCluskeys. And again, if we got moved from one street, like Gordon Street, for playing ball, we'd come onto this one. And again, it's got gates up, and there was an old woman there at that where them windows are, Mrs. Bent. She used to come out and chase us off, and then of course we'd go into the next street, which was Vernon Street, and we'd stay there till we got shifted on from there. So I'm back into Stamford Street, and that was my mother's other house there, number 80. She used to let that off to Irish girls and Irish lads that came over from Ireland. Next door we had another Irish family, the Rabettes, and further up then there was another family here called the Gormans. Crossing over from Belmont Street again, we had the Sheeran family on the corner here, I remember, for many years. And there was a family there called the Guests. They had one lad called Paul at 68. At 66 was the Burke family. And we always used to sit on them walls for years, you know, drinking our pop, eating our crisp. Then we had the Murrays at 64 and the O'Briens at 62, and this one here at number 60. Used to come out after us with the ball. An old woman, we used to call her Redskin. She used to love a drink, and she used to go to the pub, and when she came home she wanted her afternoon nap, so she'd be hammering on the windows and out after us. to shift with the ball. The next house here was my Auntie Bridie and Tony, the Gorhans, and next to them was another old woman called Lulu. We used to nickname her, I don't know why. And then going across the road here towards number 61 was the O'Connell family. They were a lovely family, Bridie and Paddy O'Connell. Unfortunately, there was a fire that broke out there, and I think they both got killed in the fire, which was very sad. Walking along a bit more down Stamford Street here at number 52, 54 we had the Stapletons, and 52 was the Heffernans. I think they were related along the line. And then when we got just before the end, then we got to the Quigleys again and the Dunnigans, and then we had a look up to Blackburn Street, where there was a few mineral factories up there. I think they were called JL. P.O. Callaghan, we used to have big wagons down there years ago, and there was a few more Irish families up there. On this junction here was the Irving house, Irving, Sandra and Janet, and they had another girl, I can't remember her name, and then there was Tony and Keith, God rest them, they've passed away since. Further up then we had another family called the Irvine family, and the Sunderland family, which was one of the girls went to school with me, Christine I think her name was. And who can remember the shop across the road? I'll just swing the camera around here. It was on that corner there where the sun is shining through that window, and they used to do not old, but they were jackets, and they had a bit of a flaw on them. And if they were in Marks and Spencer's for say £25, like a little tweed jacket or something, and they had a little flaw on them, they would sell them off for about £3. And a lot of the people went there from them days. And again, just past there, we had the Mahoney family and the Quigley family. And up this end, there was a lot of families called the Smythes or the Smiths, whichever you want to call them. I think they were all related as well. And going up towards Hullard Park, yeah, great park. We played football in there for hours and hours and hours. On Sunday used to be great when we were kids, because mother and father would take us up to the park, and sometimes the father would come out of the pub after a few beers and bring the transistor radio up, and with a little blanket would sit on the grass. He'd listen to the Gaelic football, and we'd be playing football, and we'd get money to go over to the little corner shop on the corner of Shrewsbury Street for a juice soda bottle or a Tizer. Really great days, and lovely hot long summers as well they were. This is the gate here for Hullard Park. This is the gate where we always went in, unless we bent the fence and climbed over. So there was always another shortcut somewhere. But this is the grass here where we played all the football on. And as kids, we used to go putting, and there was a Scotch fella in the putting house, and he'd give us a card and a pencil to mark off the holes. Then we'd go round again, and then he'd come out chasing us then, because other people wanted to get on the putting green. And then there was the old fellas with the trilby hats and the little bags for the jacks and the bowls to get on the bowling green. It was a very lively park back in the 60s and 70s, but it's just dead now by the look of it. So that's Hullard Park for you, but lovely blue sky out today. The leaves has fell. Hong Kong chippy. Somebody said this is one of the best chippies in Old Trafford. I used to go in it and get my scallops soaking in salt and vinegar. But I always vouched for Stamford Street chippy. I thought that was the better one for me. So that's Hong Kong chippy. This was Peter Mann's butcher shop. Now this was on the corner of Lancashire Street and Henrietta. And down here, there was a lot of Irish families down this Lancashire Street, probably one of the cleanest streets in Old Trafford at the moment. And there still is, looking at the van in front of me there with P.P. O'Connor. My brother, he died aged 30 years of age, and he was living in Lancashire Street just before he died. He was living at number 29, just past where the little hardware shop used to be many years ago, and there was a little off license on the other corner. So every one of these little streets had the shops and the history of Old Trafford in them, you know. Then we came to St John's Church here on Ayres Road, and that was one of the popular 3 churches in Old Trafford, with St Alphonsus and St Bride's. Then we came to the shops here. It was Priestley's Greengrocers on the corner, and we had Grundy's with the smell of paraffin, and McNeil's Coal Shop, Doherty's Sweet Shop, Kirklees, and there was another little shop down on the corner, as well as Victoria Wines here on the corner where I've just passed now. I'm not forgetting the post office here on Ayres Road. Who can forget that? There's 3 shops there now. St Alphonsus Church, this is where I was altar boy and went to church here every Sunday, and done my Holy Communion here as well. And there's a little signpost there, if you can see it. The sun's splitting me in the eyes here at the moment. Cunliffe's, the bakers, they was a great little pie and bread shop in Old Trafford, and they'd done all our little party gear for Christmas when we were at school and the infants, little cakes and sandwiches and all sorts. This is 2 Powell Street, the presbytery where all the priests were them days. In my days it was Father Lowen, Father Carter, Canon O'Donnell. Then later on it went to like Father Murphy, Father McMahon and Father Deegan. This is St Alphonsus School, the main entrance, where I started when I was 5 years of age. And the headmistress at the time was Mother Michael. She had an office just past that grey drain pipe there on the right hand side. Then Mother Elizabeth took over, and me and Mother Elizabeth didn't see eye to eye. I was supposed to cross with the lollipop man one day at Ayres Road, and I wouldn't do it. There was no point in going back on myself. So we had a row. She got my mother down. She banned me from the school for about a week. So I said to her that I didn't care for her or the Queen, and that tipped her over the edge. So that was Mother Elizabeth and my days here in St Alphonsus. And over here we have the Vimto factory, where they used to have all the cordial minerals stacked up on pallets, and the wasp and the bees used to come in the summer for the stickiness on the floor. And we used to steal the bottles of cordial, and we never watered them down, we just drank them as they were, and we were thirsty after though. This is the playground here in St Alphonsus, where we kicked ball many a day. Not much has changed about it. You can still see the line along there where the fencing was, and there was walls. Most of the lads played here at the back, playing football and football cards, flicking them against the wall. And around this corner here where we're going now was the entrance for Alphonsus Street. All the milk used to come in here in the mornings. Oh, the sun is hitting me in the eyes coming round here now. And used to leave the milk there in the winter. It was lovely in November and December and January. It was ice cold when we got it, but about 10:30 in the summer it was warm and lumpy. This door here on the left just passing was where all the Lancashire County Council vans backed up to, and they brought all the dinners in. This playground round here is where all the girls played mostly. They played the handstands and hopscotches and what else the other played. Over here was the prefabs. We had 4 prefabs, and the teachers was Miss White, Miss Rooney, Miss O'Brien and Mrs Hopkins, who I went to work for maybe 20 years later on. And after this school, the girls went to Carnal Vaughan's, and the lads went to St Mary's, and we lost contact with each other from the lads and the girls. But from this school, 35 years on, I met up with one of the girls, and she's a very good friend of mine up to today. So that's St Alphonsus for you, where I used to run around with my grey shorts and my grey socks and elastic bands keeping my socks up. So this was the famous front of the Vimto factory, which when they moved out later on, Rentokil took over, and now it's a Chinese place called Shizan. They do some tablets or some capsules or something, or I'm not too sure what it is, but it's the Chinese that has it now. But that's seen the best days with Vimto and the Rentokil place as well. So that's now Shizan on Ayres Road. Then we came to the chemist here on just past Milner Street. Still is a chemist nowadays, and it used to be called Mr. Parry. It used to have it, a little fella with a white coat. Down here we had a laundrette and a shoe shop that done shoe repairs. I think it was called Rushton's. Then there was Mrs. Lawford came in here and she started baking the Jamaican bread. You could get the lovely smell of bread passing here on the Ayres Road. And then there was still a little spa shop or something on this corner as we're passing here. On the other corner, there was like I think it was curtains and bedding place in this white shop here. And then as you came along here, we had the 3 shops belonging to Horners, the scooters, Lambrettas. There was all the parts up here on a Saturday morning, all the mods with the mirrors and the horns and the streamers coming out of the handlebars. Then we had a UCLA shop. It was a dry cleaners, and that was next door to Beaumont's then as well. And there's the picture of the Horners shop there as we're passing now. So yeah, they were great days on Ayres Road. This house over here was Pepperdine's the Undertakers, and they used to back the hearse in the entry and take the bodies out. And that front room there was the funeral parlour where they stored the bodies. This place here, Doris's Corner. Well, Doris was a legend. She used to have a second-hand shop selling all sorts of furniture, and you'd see Doris outside with a fur coat and a blonde hair and a cigarette holder, something like a Bet Lynch type. And she was an absolute legend. She'd sit there reading the newspaper on the sofa waiting for people to come and buy off her. And she sold all sorts in there, little cupboards and chest of drawers and everything. Yeah, ask anyone about Doris in Old Trafford. This is Shrewsbury Street. This has gone down a bit from the days. The Greys used to have 2 shops here in the corner on the left-hand side. There was a Chinese chip here, Pete the Butcher's, and there was that Sixsmith fella. He had a plumbing shop. He used to have baths and sinks and all that in his window. Then there was Joe Mercer, the cobbler, the smell of rubber when you went through his door. And then there was the laundrette, which is still there today, but I'm not going down that far. And then you had Old St. Bride's Church there on the right-hand side further down. That's been pulled down. A new one was built. That was pulled down, and another new one's gone up since. So we've had 3 St. Bride's Church in my time since the 1960s. And this is on Shrewsbury Street. So the next place we go now is the Fields, where it used to be St. Joseph's School years ago, and it changed then into St. Alphonsus School. And we used to kick ball on this pitch for many hours. And then the summer evenings, then we used to go across the road to the Shrewsbury for a few pints. The landlord knew our age, but he let us in, you know, probably about 15 or 16, 8 pints of Toby. So there's the Shrewsbury pub. We used to go in after a game of football on the field, have 8 pints of Toby Light, and on our way home we'd probably bob into Stamford Street Chippy for chips and gravy, or a meat potato pie and gravy or something. But we had great times in there. And next door to the Shrewsbury was an old community centre. I had my wedding reception in there back in 1980. That's been pulled down now, and it's Limelight that stood there. So great days in the Shrew. Does anyone remember this corner? It was Humphrey's shop and Mama's, and they used to have a phone box here on the corner. I used to put all my 2p's in when I used to phone my girlfriend many years ago, and everyone was going mental outside waiting for the phone, and I'd be putting more 2p's in. So we used to sit here many a day, you know, in the, I think it was June, waiting for Stretford pageant to come down Shrewsbury Street, and that was some pageant, that was. It was really long. And this is Clarkson's shop back in the 60s, and another guy took it over then called Mr. McGee. And this is Cross Street, where we played football for many hours. It was one of the famous streets for football in Old Trafford. We used to have the 2 walls. We used to paint the nets on them, or the goal posts. There was them there. And over here was a little hut on the left-hand side, and it had a hairdresser's in it, where the wall is there, and it had hairdressers and Mr. Jones the cobbler, and just where the white wall is there was a little shop there, and it was called Ronnie's K-Style. And back in the day, Ronnie used to come out if he had no customers and play ball with us in Cross Street. And then he moved to Charlton, which became K-Style. And over there was a big Alsatian dog, and the ball used to go over that, I remember. We never got it back. Well, we did get it back the next day, but it was in bits. It was really punctured up. So that's the great days of Cross Street. This is Stamford Street. That's where the co-op was years ago, and there was a shop, the Butcher's, Mars Chippy, the cake shop, and Thackeray's, Brian the greengrocers. That used to be Val Downs there, where that new building is now. Then when we came up to the corner here, we had a little hardware shop. Again, smelling of paraffin. It was called Parker's, and you'd get anything in this Parker's hardware shop years ago. And up on the left top corner, we had Dodd's Chemist and a Citizens Advice Bureau further down the years. So now we'll turn into Byron Street. That's Parker's there now on that corner where it used to be. So we'll turn into Byron Street, and we'll head up towards Bracewell's Newsagents. Now on this Byron Street, again, my mother had another house here, and again she rented it off to the Irish couples that came over, or single men, single women. And she had one in 80 Stamford Street as well, as I said before. So it's in number 8 Byron Street, where the black car is. And as I speak, a friend of mine lives there now. I won't say his name, but that was the house there, number 8. And the lovely little houses and back entries there were back in the day. Up here we had Bracewell's Newsagent. Yes, Harry Bracewell and Stella. They were there for years and years, and you used to go in and you'd be smelling all the cigarette smoke. Harry never had a cigarette out of his mouth, but it was a belting shop, and a lot of the local kids used to get paper jobs there up round the flats and round Old Trafford and everywhere. So little gold mine shop really it was, and that's it there on the corner, which is now turned into a house. So and their front door was just over here on the right hand side. I'll just swing the camera around here in a minute, and just past this car, and it was called number 2 Prestige Street. That's it there. And there was all houses up here on the left hand side, and the back of Val Downs was there where this white car is. And I don't need to give you a clue where I'm coming up to next, because there's a new little housing estate here now just beside the car. And the clue is in the sign what they call this housing estate, which I'll go over and show you at a closer look. So here it is, Dewars Drive. So that's where the Dewars Jam was, and for many years all the locals that lived around Old Trafford worked in Dewars Jam, and many happy day rolling the barrels out, and we used to rob the odd pot now and again off the pallets, bring them home to our mothers. We said the fella gave them to us. So there's the original Dewars Jam there now in the picture that I've just put in. So that was Prestige Street. That shop there in the corner on the left hand side of Albion Street was called Dawson's. It was a wholesale cash and carry for newspapers. So if the likes of Bracewell's and Beaumont's and Kirkleys ran short of papers like the Pink Final or the Sunday papers, they'd print them off and bring them to the shops. I don't know how they'd done it, but they did. In the middle of the shop there was Matthew's Butchers, which Lawrence Gunning took over recently after that, and then he retired a few years ago. And there was another shop in that block called McConville's. It was a painter and decorator's shop. There wasn't much traffic on Ayres Road back in the 1960s. You could fly up and down here. I mean, that's the reason they had lollipop people at the post office for the schools, because the traffic was fast. But nowadays it's so clogged up, as you can see. Traffic moves very slow, and it's very hard to get one car past another, let alone a wagon or a van or anything. So Just coming up here again after this silver car, I'm just turning the camera over. That's where Beaumont's shop was, and as I said before, Horner's was over there as well. And this place here now is the what's left of the Polish club on Shrewsbury Street, and we used to come out to Shrewsbury years ago on a Sunday after getting kicked out about 2 p.m. head for the Polish club. You get an extra few pints till about 4 o'clock. And that bit of a croft there where I just shown you, there was a little barber shop there. It was a house, but it was a barber's. My father used to bring me there many a days for my haircut. And as you go further up here now, there used to be, by the way, that shed on the left, that's the back of the Imperial Picture House, which we'll get to soon. Where the shutters is here, there used to be a Polish shop, and it used to do Polish food, sausages and things. And the fence in here was Albert Quicksall, the scrapyard. He used to play for Manchester United many years ago, if anyone remembers Albert Quicksall scrapyard. Islands, this was Islands. They used to have a hairdresser's downstairs. It was Tony, the little Italian, who went to Trafford Bar then eventually. And Lingray's on the corner, and Islands used to sell pipes and lighters in the window, and they used to buy your number 6 and embassy coupons off you them days. And they had machines outside with like number 6 and number 10 cigarettes in, and Nestle's chocolate bars, and we used to give them a good beating, try and get things out of them years ago, but we never got anything out of them. But I think everyone tried that, but you won't see any machines around nowadays. If we swing round there, there's the old toilets over there in the corner, and the Wally Hotel, which is now apartments. Many of them had a great time in the Wally. And this place here was Timothy White's. It was a chemist. My mother used to come in here many a day after the shopping on Alexandra Road, cutting through. And that was an old Barclays Bank over there, which became a Betfred and God knows what else since. And that Jamaican Simply shop there was the old post office from back in the day. And this place here, we used to have a great time. I mean, all the kids from Old Trafford and Hume, Moss Side even came here. The Imperial, known as the Flea Pit, the Picture House, all the matinees used to be on the Saturday. Batman and Robin, the Rascals. We'd nip over to Moss Lane and get a Vimto frozen jubbly, whatever you called it. So yeah, we even watched Enter the Dragon in here, and we'd come out then trying to take off Bruce Lee, kicking lampposts and trees, and it was fun. So here we got the 3 blocks of flats, Grafton, Pickford and Clifford. Over that grass there, we used to go to the Pen Park. We used to play hours over there as well, in an enclosed area, a 5-a-side pitch. So we quite enjoyed it over there as well back in the day. And then we, coming up to Sharon Church, they had a Sharon Church Youth Club at the back there as well. We used to go in it a couple of times, but it was a bit far away from us, so we didn't bother as much over there. But we did have some great days up around Charlton Road and around Pen Park. This house here is 46 School Walk. I used to live in it years ago before I got married, about 1980. I was only in it a few months. I was in the little box one in the corner, and because after that my mother moved and my family moved back down towards Old Trafford, towards Fernley Drive. So I didn't stay in this one very long, and I didn't live in Fernley at all. So this is Fernley Drive. I didn't live there, as I say, but this is where it ended for my mother and father. They both died in this house here in Fernley Drive, number 6. And I had a couple of brothers that was in there, and some went their other ways. So yeah, this was my final family house in Old Trafford, which was Fernley Drive. So let's go move on. This is one of my watering holes, the Legs of Man. I used to go in here many days and have a few drinks. They had plenty of pubs around them days. And the Platford there on the left, and the Talbot on the right hand side. You could choose to keep going across the road and back, and there's quite a few more pubs I'll show you on my route before I leave this video as well. On Lucy Street we had the printers, Gled Hills. This is where I got my wedding cards printed, which a lot of people did as well. And this here was where St. Lawrence's Church was. Would have been where I got married, in this exact spot. And of course I met my wife in St. Brendan's, which I'll swing the camera around now and I'll show you where St. Brendan's is. So there's St. Brendan's, there's a block of flats as well. So happy days. Moved up to St. Brendan's, and the Northumberland was on the other corner down here, so we'd have a pint in the Northumberland and go to St. Brendan's. And yeah, we had many happy days in St. Brendan's. And of course got married by Father Fulham in St. Lawrence's back in 1980, I think it was. Yeah, a long time ago. So that's St. Brendan's. Many changes. This was the old annex school on East Union Street. I went here when I was 11 after St. Alphonsus. They put you in here, I think, no, it was 10, I think it was. I think they put you in here at 10 till about 11 for a year. And when you left this one here, you went to St. Mary's in Stretford. And the Northumberland pub was up there on the corner, and the smell of the vanilla essence there from the factory. And there was nothing really but across the road, but now we have the new Old Trafford Junior School, which is behind those bushes there. And down there was Schenk's Garages right at the end of the road. Here's the very busy junction was Northumberland Road and Chester Road. All the buses used to run down here years ago. And that, like I said before, the smell of the vanilla essence in that building. Oh yeah, you could smell. I can still smell it now after all these years. But yeah, it was a very busy road, but plenty of choices for buses. So this is Stretford, and this is the Monkey Bridge, as they called it, where it cuts over towards Renton Road, where St. Mary's School was. Crossed this bridge many a day, probably about 54 years ago since I came over this bridge, but we'll walk up and take a look. We used to cross over here to get the 261 bus to Brooks Bar. Like I say, it's a long time I've been up here. Last time I was up here, there was trains running underneath, and I do believe now it's the tram track. And as kids, we never wanted to come over the steps. So there was one day, Steve Morrissey, of course Morrissey, there was a garden centre sort of at the back of St. Mary's where we all used to go as kids smoking. And he showed me how to cut through this fence one day over the railway lines, and it used to bring you out to a little substation where the bus stop was, and it was a shortcut. I'd done it a couple of times, and I did see the light and I seen the danger, but the headmaster always caught us. So there was myself and another load of kids and Morrissey. We always got called out assembly, same names every week, every day. And we always had to go to the headmaster's office, so we were the naughty lot. But oh my God, I can't believe this. Last time I looked over this fence, you could see St. Mary's School, the greenery of it, and the sandpit and the school itself. It's so overgrown. I can't believe that's overgrown. And over here, I think is it Milton Close or Lee Close? That's how it used to be. I've just put the picture in there, and that's how it used to be, the view from here. But like I say, I think that was Lee Crescent or Milton Crescent, something, can't remember. But you get a lot of Morrissey and Smith fans up here, and they come along here and they write their names on the bridge and little messages, Morrissey for life. Let's take a look at another couple more. Let's have a look just where I stop and put the camera. Rest in peace, Andy Rourke. There's another one. Crush Into My Arms, Moz, Johnny Marr. Yeah, lots of Morrissey fans and Smith fans come up here to have a look around and see what it's about. But let's go back down now. There's the rail track over there, and behind them bushes was St Mary's School, which you can't see now, it's that overgrown. So it was down that track there somewhere we used to cross the lines, and there was a little substation on the right hand side we used to come out to, but it was dangerous. So there's one of the trams flying past now. So that's the Morrissey Bridge, or the Monkey Bridge, which we came over many years ago. And so let's make our way down here now. And I remember there was a butcher's on that corner there where I'm looking, and on the left hand side I think there was a hairdresser's, the first shop, and then Mr. Wyatt, he was a newsagent, and God, we'd robbed some stuff out of his penny trays when we were kids. He just couldn't keep his eyes on all the kids that went in the shop at the same time. But sorry about that, Mr. Wyatt. So that's Stretford. So we're back over to Chester Road in Hume now again, and on the left hand side there was the little railway, and there was the Pomona pub that was next to it, and the Cornbrook. So that was the Pomona pub there, that was on the left hand side, and then you had on the corner the Cornbrook pub on there, and then over towards the other place you had the Turnbull, Stan and Nora in that pub. But they were great little pubs. I mean, if you went into the Pomona here, like, you'd get locked in by Martin and John, and you'd be in there till 2 or 3 in the morning, and no worries. Or even if you went next door then into the Cornbrook again, there's another little pub where you'd get a lock in till 2 or 3 in the morning. You had loads of little pubs down here on Chester Road, the Turnbull there where Stan and Nora was, another lock-in pub. The Hope was another one, but it was Hyde's Anvil, the Hope, and it wasn't my favourite beer. You had the Bull's Head, Whitbread House, the Manchester Regiment, and down at the back then you had the little Hidden Star Inn, little Scotch McEwen's pub. So they were great days. It's a listed building now as the Turnbull, or the last hop, or the commercial. It had plenty of names down the years. But a lot of people used to come up from Old Trafford round this area to the pubs. Basically, still there were lock-ins, and that's the Hope now from Manson Avenue side of it. That was the Hyde's Anvil pub, which is offices or something now. And this was the Bull's Head here on the right-hand side, and it was a listed building. Mysteriously, it got burnt down one day. There's the other side shot of it. And the apartment blocks went up, so the brown envelope paid off to whoever, as they say. So that was the Bull's Head. And over there where the hoardings are on the right hand side was the Manchester Regiment pub, great sing-along pub. A lot of the elderly went in there, so I didn't go in as much, but I went to the Star at the back of that. So the Star pub was a nice little pub. It ended up into a disco and a nightclub in the end, and after that it was finished. So that was Chester Road. So this is Hyde's Brewery in Moss Side, and this was my first job when I left school in 1975. I got £19 a week. The first thing I'd done was bought a pair of steel toe cap boots for the barrels and the crates. Yeah, I still managed to break my toe in there one day. My first job was underneath the clock down there at the bottom of the yard, and it was in the bottling department where all the bottles used to get washed. On the left hand side here was the barrel wash, and on the right hand side here was where we used to roll the barrels out on the crates and load them onto the wagons. We used to have an allowance at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and we had a few pints, and we used to have a few snidey ones at the back of the crates, and by the time 5 o'clock came, we came out of here bladdered. That was the canteen there, all that building on the right hand side, and nearer to the end was the offices. On the left hand side there was an old stables from many years ago where they used to have the horse and carts, but I'm glad they made something out of hides and they've not pulled it down. It means history to me, does this place. And after this I moved on to Ortella, also known as Automotive Products, which is well gone now. It's a tram station on the top of Ayres Road and Elsinore Street. So they were my first two jobs, Hyde's and Ortella. So as I said before, my first job was Hyde's Brewery in Mass Side, and then I went to Ortella, which was known as Automotive Products. I've come down to Old Trafford now to show you my last job, which was Royal Mail. Now, before Royal Mail, I worked for J. Hopkins, and what is the chance of this happening? I've walked round here into Norton Street today, and there's my old company, J. Hopkins, working right outside my company that I work for now. So I spent 20 years here with J. Hopkins, working on the roads, asphalting, and travelling all over the place, from Lancaster to Reading to Yorkshire, Lancashire. Quite enjoyed the job, but it's a young man's job nowadays. And then after 20 years I hung my boots up, as they say, and I ended up here in Royal Mail in Norton Street, where I spent 25 years here working on the post and driving the vans, and this is where it ends, I'm afraid. So January 2026 I made my official retirement date, and that's where it ends. I've worked in the snow, as you can see there, and I've worked in the rain. I had many good laughs with some of the colleagues in there, but the time has come when you have to say you have to go. So from me, I have to go now, and that's it. That's where it ends. So thank you for watching, and goodbye everybody.
Said so long. I don't want to see you go. Oh, you better go now. Go now, go now, go now. Don't you even try. Telling me that you really don't want me to end this way. Cause darling, darling, can't you see I want you to stay? Since you gotta go, oh, you better go now. Go now, go now, go now. Before you see me cry, I want you to tell me just what's going